We are reading the hand of a female whose age is 28 years old, and I would be answering questions regarding the marriage, the family life, the health, and the money aspects. These are the questions everybody basically has. I would be concentrating on these particular questions in my palm reading session. At first, I would briefly give you an overview of this particular hand. It would answer some of the questions but not all, and then we would concentrate on specific areas of the palm. The first line that we would start to read, and this is the right hand and this is a female. So generally people think that we should look at the left hand for the female and right hand for the male. But in my case, I try to give importance to both the hands to arrive at the conclusion. It is not one hand we refer, but both hands as such. Now, one thing we look at is in the right hand, the headline appears to be very long. It is running from one edge till the other edge. So this is considered to be a long line and long in straight line. So what happens is that a person who has got a long headline becomes extra headstrong by nature, and the person is very practical. This area where the money and where the headline is ending, this is ending on the area of Mars positive. This is the area in Palmistry we refer to. This area is Mars negative area, and this is planes of Mars. So there are three different Mars in the hands. Some people refer this particular area as the area of Rahu, but I would I would go by the Western system of palmistry, and that says this is the area of planes of Mars. So when the headline is ending on the mount of Mars positive, it makes a person cool, calm, and the person possesses the quality of tenacity. Tenacity means basically in spite of opposition, basically the person stands in spite of opposition as well. Now what happens is that every person, they have some good years, some people they have got bad years, and to cope up with the bad years, if we find that the person has got a long and strong headline, it means that the person is capable of handling difficult situations that may arise, and the person would basically be able to control everything in their life with the mental strength. So a long headline means good mental strength. Although there are few places on the headline, this portion on the headline where the headline is a little bit troubled. So I would speak about that as well. So the intersection of the money and the headline. So this is the money line, and the headline is this age is age 35, and this portion of the money line is before the age of 35, and this portion of the headline is before the age of 35. So what we find out here before the intersection is that there are many lines that are kind of originating on the area of Mars positive, Mars negative area. This is the area of anger, aggression, and fire. So many lines are kind of originating out here, and they are kind of crossing over the lifeline. This is the lifeline, and they're crossing over, and they are kind of touching the headline also out here. Apart from this, there are also few lines on the headline. So this is the headline. There appear to be few lines that are moving backward towards the area of Mars negative area. So I would just explain you what basically the meaning of this particular thing is. We can say that the lines are moving backward, or we can say that the lines are kind of angling from towards the area of Mars negative and joining the headline. The meaning is going to remain the same. So what it basically means is when a line kind of enters from the area of Mars negative and enters the headline, it means anger entering your mind. This is the line of head. So anger entering your mind. So when anger enters your mind, the chances of you taking wrong decisions increases, because when the person is angry, the person cannot take the right decision. In anger, everything can go bad. So kind of I would suggest to this particular person, this particular lady to reduce the anger. One more thing I had added, that few lines are kind of originating on the Mars positive and they are touching the headline. So consider lifeline to be the car you are traveling in. And a line from here kind of touching the headline is something like a car or a scooter or a cycle or a truck, they are coming and touching your headline. So what happens is that there is going to be some kind of a clash between these two things, your car and the truck or a cycle. So depending upon how strong the lines are, how strong the lines are, they would have a major impact on a person's life. But these lines that you see out here, they are not very strong kind of lines, strong kind of lines. They are comparatively weaker kind of lines. So weaker lines would have got a lesser negative impact compared to a stronger line. One more thing I need to add out here is that on the headline, when you find few lines kind of moving backwards towards the area of Mars negative, because Mars negative is the area of anger, aggression, and fight. So what happens is that during this particular portion, we would find few troubles that may increase to a large extent. And if the person is kind of less angry, probably the bad impact in their life is going to be limited. If they are more angry, the impact is going to become manifold. So depending upon how good they are able to control their anger, it would basically have that kind of an impact. Now, to look for any other negative sign on any other line as well, is when we look at the heart line. So this is the heart line that we refer to. Heart line is normally seen to be the line of love life, relationship, partnership. I try to associate your heart line even to your profession as well. Because each and every line can be associated with each and every other thing in your life. So it's not that the heartline is only telling about your relationships and partnerships and your love life. It also basically tells about the other aspects of your life as well. So first we would take from the point of view of your relationships. Now, the best possible line a person can have is if a person has got a very, very simple kind of a looking heart line without any branches, without an island. I would just show you what a branch or an island can look like. A branch is going to look like something like these. Branches hanging downwards. Consider fingertips, the top of the fingertips to be the, let's basically explain in a different way. Let's take the tips of the finger to be your head, and the lower portion of the body to be the earth and the gravity. Okay, lower portion is the earth and gravity. And this is your physical heart. So what's going to happen is, imagine this is your heart, and the branches that are hanging downwards is something like branches hanging down on the heart, and weight is hanging on to the heart. So the heart is being pulled downwards with these branches. So if there are branches hanging onto your heart, it would basically stress your heart. So these branches that you see on your heart line are something like they would give anxiety and stress, sometimes palpitation also. But and these lines that you see are the lines of distractions, falling for temptations, not being able to commit yourselves completely to one thing and only one thing. And this particular island that you see out here, it's an island. Island on the heartline could mean an elongated period of emotional stress and anxiety. So this is what basically is depicted by the island and the branches on the heartline. And the good part is that the heartline is not a very long kind of a heartline. A longer heartline would have created more stress and anxiety in your life. The heartline is comparatively shorter. It is kind of ending somewhere on the mount of Saturn. This is the mount of Saturn. That's where it is ending. So that's a much better place to end instead of ending on the area of Mount of Jupiter. That would make a person more idealistic and more emotional. Now the person is more realistic and grounded because Saturn is all about being realistic and grounded. So that's the reason why the problems do get reduced to a large extent because of the shorter heart line. And These branches can be seen from the aspect of your work as well. So these branches would mean that the person may get distracted and may fall for temptations. So I would advise that this particular person not to fall for the temptation and remain committed to one thing and only one thing. That's where the person is more content. So this is one way of looking at it. Now we would look at the money line also out here. Now, as I've already explained to you that each and every line can talk about each and every other thing in your life. So money line does tell about the money, but money line can also talk about other aspects of your life as well. So from the point of view of relationship. So this intersection, as already explained to you, this intersection is age 35. At the intersection of the money and the headline is age 35. And the money line is breaking before the age of 35. So break on the money line is somewhere close to this particular point. So if this point is age 35, so this point is approximately going to be roughly 30, 31, 31 or 32. That's the rough estimate, I would say. But because the lines are kind of overlapping, the line basically continues and then ends, but before it ends, another line basically starts. So this is just a rough estimate. So break on the line of money would basically indicate something to do with an abrupt ending in your work, business, business loss, wealth loss, something like this. It would be depicted by the break on the line of money. But sometimes it is not a surety that it is, we can't say with surety that it is only going to affect your finances. It could be due to some other reasons as well. So the other reasons normally are that the main earning member of the family, their health or wealth goes down, so more responsibility falls onto your head. So the break could mean also that. And the third aspects that may get applied is one's personal life can get disturbed due to a break in the money lines. And it could be vice versa. It could be uh, like bad finances affect your relationship, or bad relationship can affect your finances. It can go both ways. Now we would basically move on to the other hand that I was given, and just give me a moment. So this is the left hand we are referring to. Now on the left hand, where we were mentioning that there was a break out here, we don't see a break on the line of this is where there was a break on the right hand, but in this case there is no break out here. So there's continuity in the line of money, but still I would say that on the line of money there's an inward movement of the line. So inward movement is a little bit negative, pointing towards the area for Mars negative, because that kind of creates a little bit of financial distress or financial problems during that particular age. So the break in the left and the right hand, the right hand there's a break, in the left hand there's a slight curve a little bit inwards. That's a little bit negative, I would say. Now on the left hand there are few very very good indications. Now people wonder what hand should we refer to. I would say that normally we should refer the left hand for females, but working women, we should give more importance to the right hand. A woman who is just going out and meeting people, not working at all, not earning anything, even for them also we can refer the right hand. But we should not ignore the left hand. We should consider both hands in male as well as females. So both hands are your hands and you do work with both the hands. So we should give importance to the both hands to arrive at the conclusion. Now in this particular hand, what I find very good is that in the starting portion of the headline, so this is the starting portion of the headline. Normally, the headline in a normal person's hand, the headline may appear to be something like this. This is the normal place. But in your case, what is happening is that this particular branch is kind of angling towards the area of Mount of Jupiter. This is one branch, and apart from this one branch, there's more distinct and clear another branch purely and purely originating on the Mount of Jupiter and joining the line of head. Now, this is a very important line because people do not have such a line in their palm. This line basically depicts that your life, if it joins the line of head, it means your mind getting guided by Jupiter. If it joins the lifeline, it means your life guided by Jupiter. This is also life getting guided by Jupiter. So what it basically means is we have to understand the real meaning. We have to understand the qualities of the Mount of Jupiter. Mount of Jupiter is the area for administration, religion, politics and honor, position and power, spirituality. So all these things are the area of Mount of Jupiter. And Jupiter being a big planet, it brings growth and expansion and honor and respect in your life. So don't think it is considered to be a lucky line, but this is a good line to have. And the effect of this line can be seen all throughout your life. The line is joining the headline in the earlier portion of your life. This is the earlier portion of the headline. This is the earlier portion of the headline and the lifeline. So this is before the age of, let's say, 18, 19, 20. So what happens is that if we find a good line in the earlier portion of your life, it would have a good impact even in the later portion of your life. It's not that it's going to be only for 1 or 2 years. It's going to be throughout your life. So this line would take a person to a higher position in their life, a respectable position, and such people value respect a lot. They, for them, respect is everything, honor is everything. So in spite of having any negative lines on your heart line, like I did mention island on the heart line or break on the line of money or some problems on the line of head, in spite of having all these things as well, still this line kind of cuts the negative qualities of these particular areas and kind of like they would never want dishonor in their life. So problems in relationship can be seen as a dishonor, but somehow they would try to remain in an honorable position somehow or the other. So in this way, I would say it kind of betters your personal life as well as your professional life. In both ways, it is going to make you better. And the effect of this line could have been seen in the earlier portion. It is something like when the person was young, the person would have been a prefect or a monitor, or the person would have been rewarded or awarded in some way or the other, any subject or anything. It's not one thing, but it could be honor in any place the person would have got. Jupiter is basically the mount for government and governance. So this is again a good aspect as far as this planet goes. I had also already made a small video which I had shared with you regarding the line of attachment. Hopefully you must have seen it. So you would find a very distinct and clear downward tilting line, attachment line and touching the line of heart. It's better not to have such a downward kind of a formation on the attachment line, because it is kind of being pulled downwards. So in that way, it is a little bit negative. Now we move on to the sun line. Basically, this is the line of sun that we are referring to. This is basically the line of sun, and this portion is again the sun line. You see multiple sun lines out here. This is the line of head, and this is the line of heart. Now what happens is that this portion of the sun line is before the age of 35. This portion is 35 to 53, and this portion is 53 and beyond. So I'm just going to remove these three portions so that you can actually see the lines for yourself, and you would find that the initial period of the line is okay. This portion of the line becomes a little bit better, so after the age of 35, and then it becomes really deep and clear. This portion is really deep and clear compared to this portion of the sun line. Now it is said that the deeper and the clearer the line and the more the straight the line, the better the impact the person may have in their life. Different palmists have got different interpretations for the sunline, and sunline people normally say for name and fame. It is also also the line for some people say that it is your luck line. Some other people might say that this is your government service line. Normally, I say no. I don't believe in that sunline would mean the government service line. Still, the person can have been a government service. It doesn't mean that the person is not in government service. But normally, sunline is not the line for government service. But at the same time, when this line becomes deeper and clear, certainly the person would get much better name and fame. I've got a different way of explaining the sunline. I would say a strong sunline signifies that the person is able to give more energies to their work. Just like when there's good sunlight and there are no clouds, no smoke in the sky, so the sun rays are going to penetrate the earth, reach the earth, and the plants on the earth, they are going to grow at a much more faster speed. So when the line is strong, it means strong career prospects can be seen. It means basically clarity in the work that you're doing. It's not that this portion of the sunline is bad. I wouldn't say that this portion of the sunline is bad, but comparatively the later portion after the age of 35, the line becomes even better. Manifold, the line basically becomes better. In this particular portion regarding the line of money, this is the line of money that is moving towards the Mount of Saturn. You would notice that the line of money kind of ends on the heart line. So this particular point is age 53. So there would be a few changes that the person may experience. The main line is ending and a new one basically starts, and it starts at a little bit early age, before the age of 53, and that basically progresses and becomes much better after the age of 53. And the better lines are once you can to understand which line is good and which line is bad, we would say that simple straight lines are the best. So this portion of the line is good, somewhere close to from the age of, let's say, 50 till the last portion of your life. The money line is also good and the sun line is also good. In both ways, I would say better prospects can be expected. The negative aspects I've already explained to you. These Mars line, these horizontal lines are considered to be negative lines, and they affect the person to some extent, and they come and strike the headline. So it would have some kind of a negative impact, mental oppositions, some mental worries that the person may experience before the age of 35. But as the person progresses, this portion becomes better after the age of 35. This portion where the line is being cut at the age of 35, again, few problems may arise. This portion is 35. So after the age of 35, things can become much better as the life progresses. To be successful, a person also needs to have a good amount of Mercury. So Mount of Mercury plays a major role in our life. Mount of Mercury is the area for intelligence, calculations, and communication. So perpendicular lines that you see out here, these are good lines. This long straightforward line is considered to be a good line. When a person does have a strong Mercury line, this is the any line moving towards the Mount of Mercury is called the Mercury line. So a strong Mercury line means strong set of skill, and skills is a thing that betters our life. We can basically better our life if we have got good set of skills. So skills can be of any kind. It need not be one thing. Skills can be of any kind. Skills can be in communication or calculations. It could be in mathematics, engineering, medical science. It could be in computers. It could be networking skills. It could be human to human networking. It could be computer coding. It could be social media networking. It can be anything. So, if the mercury amount is good, the chances brighten up. Now, one line, two line, three line. So when a person who has got two or three lines, we would say multiple set of skills that the person may have in their life. One lines means one skill, multiple lines means multiple set of skills. As far as sun line also goes, you would notice one or two or three lines out here. So it's not that three lines would multiply the amount of success, but it would just means maybe two parallel sources of income or two parallel like careers that the person may have in their life. As far as the heartline goes, you will notice that the heartline is kind of ending somewhere closer to the Mount of Saturn. This is considered to be good aspect from the point of view of money matters, because the heartline ending on the Mount of Saturn basically signifies that the person values money, respects money, the person prays for money, and the person is good at managing money, gives respect and honor to money. So those are the things that, and the person is a good money manager as well. So and the person is grounded, the person knows the ground situations very well. So these are the qualities necessary in order to make more money in your life, and the person does have these qualities. She may claim, the person whose hand I'm reading, the person may claim that they are emotional people, but the reality is that they may not be emotional people, because the heartline coming closer to the mount of Saturn, it's a little bit long, but not very long. So closer to the mount of Saturn, it makes a person more realistic and grounded. But the thing is that towards the end, there's a curvature in the heartline. The heartline could have stopped something like this, but there is a curvature towards the end. So curvature in the heartline increases the emotions. Like, the person is not emotional, but the person is expressive with the emotion, and the person can't keep the emotions in check. So this is what the thing could be. A longer heartline would have meant a long heartline would have meant the person is very emotional and very sensitive, very idealistic. So out here we would say that the person is just expressive with the emotions, but the person is very grounded, and those kind of things get applied in out here. In the later portion of the lifeline, this portion is the later portion of the lifeline, and you would find in the later portion few branches that are kind of leaning outward and pointing towards the mount of moon. So these could mean health loss or wealth loss towards the later portion of your life, around the age of, let's say, 60, 65. And sometimes it could, because this could have multiple meanings. It could mean desire for travel may increase, and the person may develop restlessness may creep in this particular person's life. And as far as the health goes, the problem related to the health could be in the lower portion of the body, something to do with the kidney, or something to do with the urinary part, or the urinary infection, or something like those kind of things can get applied out here with these branches that are hanging outward and pointing towards the mount of moon. So this is where the person needs to take care a little bit. I'll just move on to the other portion. Now, I was just wondering that if the mercury finger is short out here, if it is not touching the top line of this is the ring finger. If it is not touching the top line of the ring finger and it is short, it could mean the person kind of creates distance between a near and dear one. So this is one aspect they need to be careful a little bit, depending upon, see, if it is not very short, if it is till here or even here, it's okay. But if it is short, then we would say that mercury finger short, mercury is a finger of communication. If it is short, it could signify that distance gets created between near and dear ones. With faraway people, the person is good at talking and the person can communicate with 100 people at the same time in an effective way. But problem arises where communicating with near and dear people are concerned. And the reason I'm not very sure if this finger is very short is because sometimes when you take the hand image, we take in a certain way, and the finger may appear to be shorter, may not be as short as it may be appearing. So if it is still here, then I would say that the finger is short. If it is long, then we would kind of ignore what I have already mentioned to you right now. It does appear, I'm not very certain, but it does appear that this lady does have a loop-like formation, a skin pattern. We are talking about skin pattern, not the lines. So there's a loop like out here, there's a loop like out here, but these loops are more common loops compared to this particular loop that we are referring to. The name of the loop is Raja loop, and Raja loop in books basically it say that their ancestors could be near to king or being in a governing position to a large extent. I've got a different take and different understanding of this kind of a loop. I would say that yes, it does, those things can get applied or may not get applied. But this loop is kind of combining the qualities of Jupiter and Saturn together. Jupiter is for government, governance, position, power, respect, honor. Saturn is for money management, responsibility, all these kind of things. So let's consider a king. A good king has the good qualities of governance, the area for Jupiter, and the money management also is required to govern. To govern the kingdom, they need to be good at managing money as well. So a loop-like formation between the first and the second finger is called a Raja loop, and a king who has an understanding of both these things would be able to rule the kingdom for a longer duration of time. So it is considered to be a lucky sign to have. Don't think that every person who has this particular sign would become a king, but certainly a person who has these things is would have better prospects compared to the other person. Right hand also, I would repeat, these perpendicular lines can be seen. I don't see like too much of crisscrossing lines. If they were crisscrossing lines, I would have said miscommunication and miscalculation develops. The person, if there were crisscrossing lines. Towards the end of the sun line, you would notice that there's a V or a Y kind of a formation. This is a good sign to have towards the end. So better name and prospects can be expected towards the end. There are more lines in the center of the palm, more lines on the center of the palm, kind of increases our temper. You must have heard tempering of the sword. So tempering of the sword is nothing but heating and cooling. Heating, like you heat this iron sword and then you beat the sword and then you basically cool it. And then again you heat it. So what happens is that if the tempering is done in a good way, the sword becomes unbreakable. But if the sword is tempered in the wrong way, the sword can break. So if there are more lines in the center of the palm, it means that the tempering of the sword has not been done in the right way. It means that the anger and aggression is misguided. So try to remove anger and aggression if there is, and be in much more control of your anger and aggression, so things can become better for you. As far as she mentioned that her age is 28 or so, and let me just draw the money line out here. It is ending out here, but this portion, this point of touching a branch touching from the area for mount of moon and touching the line of money could be seen as an increase. This point could be the age that the person may be referring, running right now, 28 or so. So this point could be the age when the person progresses in their career, or it could also be seen the marriage happens somewhere out here. So the age could be somewhere out here. I'm not very certain about the exact age when the person may have got married, but sometimes this joining of the line could be seen as a line of marriage or better prospects coming in their life. So I would end the video out here, but before I end, I would just take a look at few other hand images that was sent to me, and just briefly I would take a look. There's a gap in the middle of the head and the lifeline. So this gap basically means that the person is rash, outgoing, never misses out on opportunities. So it can be seen in a good or bad way, both ways it can go. But I would just advise a little bit of caution. Uh, that would be better. And so I would end my video out here, and thanks for watching. Bye and take care. You can call me or you can email me. Thanks.